What's going on, guys? Rolo back. Still working on the interior. Still the same video, still the same day, but you guys are seeing this the day after. It's super hot out here. So we removed the front and rear seats, all the parts to them. Now we're getting started, and we're gonna do all the pillar trim, the door trim, the headliner and everything. So this off, we're first gonna do these little like coat hangers. If you just push them out, there's gonna be a little screw right there. It's just gonna be a Phillips, so you get that out first. And we're gonna do the arm or hand grabby thingies, and there's gonna be screws underneath also. There we go. And then it's just gonna have some T25s underneath. So now with all of these removed, we're just finishing up that one with all those four removed. To get all these panels off, there's also going to be one right under this airbag cover. Let me pop it off so I can show you. There's just going to be more T25 Torx bits. So I'm going to take that one and this one off, and then I'll show you from there. So once you get that one loose, move on to this one here. So once you get that little Torx bit out, this is just gonna slide out like that. And then, so after you get those two bolts out, these are just gonna pop out. And don't force it, it's just gonna be like that. And then right over here, you're gonna have this little metal clip. So I use a flathead, and you pop it out this way. This little clip right here, I'm just using these, and then you grab it and you're gonna pull. Should release the clip in the back, and if you play with it, jiggle it around. See, there's a little clip. When you pull this, it makes this loose. That's how you know you got it off. Then you should be good to slide it out. There's one, and it slides out, and then your whole piece is out right there. See? So once you have that out, I'll get back to this because you have to remove these visors. But right under here, these are going to be T20 Torx bits right there, and then from there we'll be able to take this trim off here. So once you get those little T20s out, you just got to pull. And then you're gonna have these little things on both sides, right here and right here, that you gotta pull out, and then you'll be able to slide this up and out. So we got this removed. Here it is because of the seat belt still attached, so we're gonna have to remove this. But first we're gonna go ahead and remove these door trim pieces, I guess, if you want to call them. So these pieces right here, got that one out on the other side. You're gonna just pull, has clips in it. And you have to get this one loose to slide this one out. Don't have any trim removal, sadly, but it's just clips. So there's that. It's being held in right there, and then it'll slide out. There. That piece slides out. Now over here, same thing. Literally just has clips in it. Play with it a little bit, and then that bottom trim piece comes out. So like I showed you on the other side, now that this piece is gone, this just has, it's kind of held in the side, so just kind of gotta play with it, tug at it. There we go, there's that, and then it just has those little feet on the bottom right there. You just pull up. If you pull up, this whole thing will slide out, and then I'll show you how to get the seatbelt out. So you pull up, and then out comes that whole piece. And to get this loose, all you have to do is unbolt the seatbelt from right here, and then you'll be able to push the seatbelt through, and this whole piece will come out. So after you get that piece out, it's going to be another 17 mil for this seatbelt. And just got to get that bolt out. The seatbelt will come loose. You slide it through. Now this piece is off too. And then since I'm changing the seatbelts out, you're just going to have that bolt right there. It'll focus right there. And then for this, you're going to have a bolt underneath right there. And then make sure to unplug this yellow connector, and the whole seatbelt assembly will come up. So once you get this bolt out from on top, this will come loose. And then like I showed you, it just has that one bolt on the bottom right there. If I can get this to go. And once that comes off, this will pull out. All you have to do is remove this yellow connector, and then the whole assembly will come off. And just like that, your whole seat belt is off, and then got all that trim off. Now we just got to move on to this one. So I went ahead and put the black seat belts in already, just so they're already there when I'm ready to put everything back together. So now we have to get off this trim piece here, although we have to take off the visor. So you're gonna have one Phillips screw over there, and then if you unclip this to get this off, this is gonna be one separate piece right here. You pop that off, and then you'll be ready for this to come off as well. A little, you get that little Phillips screw off, and then you're just gonna have this connector right here. Pull it off. There's your visor. Now you just gotta get this. Well, you can get that off later. I'll show you guys how to get this off. This one's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna have that little clip right there. Using a little flat head, you can pop that out towards you, maybe. You can push it in from the back also, just like that. And then it's the same thing as the back. Just gotta grab it and pull. So it just has a couple more clips that hold it in. There's the last one right down there. And the whole thing, you just slide it out towards the center of the car, or towards the back of the car, and then the whole thing's out. So now you have this out. You have all your trim. You have this out. Now I'll show you how to get that one off as well. So to start with the corner window, you're gonna have a couple T25s right there, second one there, a third one right there. So you start by removing those. So you're gonna have your clips. There's one right here, and there's another one which goes right there. Once you pull outwards and get those off, you're just gonna slide out, and there's your corner window trim piece. So now we're gonna take this whole rear shelf off. So you're gonna start, and you're gonna get all these off. You can see the little lip right here. You just gotta lift up, and they'll pop right out. And same thing with this one. You just gotta grab it right under here, and it lifts up. And then this will still be attached, but you can push it through since the seatbelt is no longer attached. Once you pull that out, then that's loose. You're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Just kind of pry up underneath. So underneath the rear shelf, there's these two little brackets in here, and they just hold the third brake light. So if you can push these in and then pull it out, there's a connector you have to take off for the brake light, and then after that the whole rear deck or rear shelf should slide out. So I just took the rear brake light all the way off. There's that connector. Now with that off, you should be able to grab it, and if you kind of play with it, it lifts up, and it starts to slide forward just like that. And then these, you just gotta push in through the hole, and then the whole rear deck will slide out. It'll seem like it won't fit all the way through, but trust me, if you just get it in through all the little crevices just to widen it a little bit more, it'll go through just fine. And once you get that all the way through, then the whole rear shelf comes out. Now, in a matter of about 2 hours, my whole car is taken apart almost. Just gotta get the front end and the whole headliner done. So for me, since I'm changing the seat belts to black because that's what my interior is gonna be, you already got this one off from down there, obviously, way in the beginning of the video. Now for this one, the passenger side is gonna be quite a bit more tricky than the driver's side, so I'll go ahead and show you this one first. So you're gonna have to pull this back, but you're gonna have one clip here, and then I undid the second clip over there just so I could bring this out more, so I had more room to play with. So just go ahead and get those 2 clips out, and then I'll show you where to go from there. So once you get those 2 clips off, you're also gonna have to undo those 2 screws so you can bring this up and out. So once you have pulled that all the way out, this will come out. Just be kind of careful with it, but it'll pop out. There we go. And then the reason why this one's more tricky, it has just one bolt holding it on, but if you can see, this kind of gets in the way for that bolt right back there, if you can see it right there. So what you can do is, this has either an 8 or a 10 millimeter right there. If you undo that, it will give you just enough room to pull this outwards. And then if you use a 17 millimeter wrench, box end, or combination, or whatever you want to use, it takes quite a bit of time, but you just got to keep going back and forth. That bolt will come loose, and then you just gotta have to unplug this yellow connector, and the whole thing will come up and out. So I was able to loosen it a little bit with a 17 millimeter wrench. My hands were just small enough to get in there, and with my fingertips I spun it the rest of the way. And then you just, like I said, you just got to get that connector off there, and then if you push it back a little bit and then pull it up, and that'll come out. And then it's going to be the same exact thing on the other side, only you're not going to have this, so you could just use an impact or a socket wrench or something, and it'll come right out. Alright guys, so now comes the fun part, the headliner. But guess what? You have to take off the sunroof, the actual glass. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and then we'll be able to get the headliner out, and then we're going to move to the dash and the center rear console and the shifter and all the fun stuff, and this car is going to be super gutted. So I believe first there's these little like things right here. They do just literally, if you kind of play with them, maybe I won't force them. There's that one, you just pull down. This one, don't know why, oh there you go. Yeah, so you literally just slide them out, and then that's that. Same thing on the other side. This top one, you just pull down with your fingers, it slides out. And this bottom one, you just pull starting from the inside towards the outside, and voila. And there's those. Now you're gonna have, I think they're T25s. You're gonna have 1, 2, 3, and then 3 on this side over here. Yep, it's gonna be those 3 bolts up there. 1, 2, and 3. So now that you have those 3 bolts off, the whole sunroof should just pop out like that. so it'll slide out. And then once you have that off, you're gonna want to take this out here, and it's gonna be held on by these Phillips right here, and then right back there. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so now you got those 4 tiny little Phillips screws out. So you're gonna pull out and up to get the like sunroof shade up, but be careful because these might fly around. These are just held in by the railing down here, so if you kind of slide up, they'll let loose from there and they'll slide out, and then these should stay in there. If I can get you to pop back in, well, if they pop out, if they do pop out, you just have to slide it back into the railing down underneath here. So now that you have the sunroof shade out, if you haven't already taken these off, we're gonna take these off. We're gonna take these lights off. These have a little tab right there. You can stick a little flathead and you can pry down on it. And then, so after removing those 2, we're gonna pull this light cover off, and then there's a couple other things we have to pull off, including the rear dome light, and then that'll release most of the things besides wiring to let the headliner down. So we're using just a little pry bar because we don't have a trim removal tool, but this little cover will come off first here, and then that's going to be the last thing in there. And once you remove that, just like that, you'll be all good. There's going to be nothing holding the headliner in right there. And now we are going to remove this whole assembly. Don't try to pry from the edges because I made that mistake on my parts car, and there's a little screw that holds the very middle of this in. So we're going to, right, so what you're actually going to remove is this little part right here. Once you take that dome or that light housing off, right in here there's going to be a little lip you can grab with the little flathead, and it'll remove this. And then there's going to be that little Phillips screw that I was telling you that holds the whole cover on. So this part here, you literally just tug on it. You can either grab the lip. What I did was I just grabbed this and I pulled down on the actual button because it doesn't take much force to take it off. And then you're going to have a couple connectors. You're going to have that little Phillips which I showed you, we already took off. And you're going to have one here and one there. We do still need to take off the rear dome light, and this one doesn't actually have any screws. So if you have trim removal or flatheads or something, just be careful with flatheads and stuff, pry bar, whatever. This whole thing comes out, and then we should be basically ready to take all the headliner out. Okay, I lied. So it's going to be attached. The headliner is attached from it curls up, and this little black thing goes all the way around. So you're gonna have to take that off. Don't try to pull the headliner out without doing this. There's just little clips, so it'll snap out of place. Just those little clips right there. Now that you have that little black thing off, this is gonna be pretty much loose. And yep, it'll all start unclipping. It'll all start coming loose. All the headliner. There's going to be tons of wiring everywhere, so just be careful with all your wiring, all your connectors. Don't want to damage anything. And the only tricky part after that is finding a way to get that huge thing actually out of the vehicle. You could do it out of the trunk. I couldn't do it on that one because it did not have a key and no battery or anything. I couldn't find a release for the trunk, so we had to do it out of the passenger rear door or the driver rear door. But this one, we're just gonna lift up the trunk and slide it out the back. So now, as you can see, whole headliner's out. It's quite a bit of wiring. Just try and remember where everything goes, but that's the headliner all out. So that's the headliner out on the car. That's how you do it. Thank you so much for watching. I know this video is a little bit longer, but I figured that if I did one video where we have all the pillar trim out, the pillar door trim, whatever you want to call it, and the headliner, the rear shelf, everything. I feel like everything is a little bit more related together, all those trim pieces. So I made one video about it all. Thank you for watching. I'm definitely gonna have a couple more videos coming out on the interior, and then it'll come a little bit more fun stuff. I got a couple things. I'm gonna replace the driver's side fender, and then after that, just small little fixes. The LCD screen, I gotta change out the windshield. But then after that, come in the coilovers, the wheels, diverter valves, tune, blah blah blah, all that fun stuff that I really want to do to the car. So again, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to punch that like button and subscribe for more content. Thank you so much. See you guys.